Well, we're back again with another edition of Collecting Small Diecast Land Rovers. And what have we got for you today? Well, we're going to be taking a look at two liveries that don't seem to have many variations to them. First one is going to be this one. So we'll just move the camera down a little bit. There we go. Is the RAF Mountain Rescue soft top, and also the Rail Track Series 3 soft top. I've searched high and low and I can't find many variations on these models, so we're putting it over to you out there to have a look at the ones you've got. I've certainly not seen any 4 mirror versions of these, and both of these I suspect have got steering. We'll have a closer look when we get inside. And Carrama have not released these two liveries. They've not appeared. Whether they're penciled in to come back out again in the near future, which would undoubtedly give us another casting variation to them, but these they don't crop up all that often. Certainly they're far and few between on the eBay, which is the one I primarily use, but I've not seen them on many of the other auction sites, so maybe didn't sell in vast numbers, or maybe people just want to hang on to them because they're a little bit different. But we'll get the first one unboxed and we'll take a look. So we'll do the Rail Track first. So the white Rail Track Incident Response Vehicle. Rail Track, for those who are not in the UK, was a company set up to look after all the infrastructure on the UK railways. They're responsible for track signalling and general infrastructure, just to ensure that the railways ran smooth. Whereas in later years, the each area had its own operating company that ran trains which served the public. They were allowed to run trains on the rail track infrastructure, if you get what I mean. So the rail operating companies just owned the trains and the staff, but the track they ran on they didn't own. It was later replaced by Network Rail and various other. It's gone through quite a few changes over the years, but Rail Track was one of the earlier ones. The interesting thing to notice on this livery, and this is the 1/43rd, the 1/72nd scale was also produced with this livery. But as you can see there, it says Incident Response down on the near side in the UK. But on the driver's side, it says Response Incident, and that always annoyed me. They could have reversed it so that it read correctly, but it's something they've carried across from both scales, so I should imagine it isn't as the prototype would have been. So yeah, the registration being GPX583N. And of course on this model, being a fairly early one, it features a nice clear rear window, opening doors. Interestingly, it does not have an interior mirror for the driver. And of course there's no mirrors on the front wings. I've searched the internet, I've searched images. I can't find a 4 mirror version of this anywhere. So I'm assuming it was never released in that format, but unless you know different. Right, we'll stop it and take a look at the underneath. So the underneath of this model is pretty much standard. There's no changes. We've got the Hongwell and Land Rover Series 3 109, etc. Why they didn't pick out in silver, I know we've mentioned this before, but the 1/72 ones with all the silver axles and running gear and exhaust do look so much better, but why they didn't go down that route on this, I really don't know. It would have made for a nice model. Again, we've got the steering, limited throw on the steering, and the rather oversized pivot points here and here, and of course with the rod that moves across to as the steering's turned. Will we see another one in this livery? I would like to think so. Or maybe even if they updated it to the newer. More likely they would do it on the Defender, because the Defenders have come out with the later liveries. Series 3s are probably all worn out by then, so they wouldn't have received the later liveries that were applied following the change of name of company. There we can see we get a better view there of the lack of interior mirror. Why that comes and goes on some models, I'm not sure. What I might do is strip one down one day and have a good look and see if it was an additional part or if it's part of the moulding when they did all of the window surround, etc. But that's for another day. We'll get around to stripping one down one day. I suppose we could do it as with a view to what your options would be if you wanted to do some Code 3 mods on these. Yeah, I might bear that one in mind. Right. So let's just pull out a little bit. All the front end details quite nice on this model because it's an early one, so no one dies or anything. The details are quite nice on the grille, etc. Date for this coming out? No idea. I don't know the production dates. We've mentioned this before. Very hard to find out, but as a standalone model, it's quite nice. It looks quite nice on the shelf. Please have a look at the ones you've got. If you spot any details on your version, I would really like to know, so I could update the database on the website and look out to try and get my hands on one. Right, that's it for the rail track. Let's move on to the next one. This is a model that on the face of it seems to be a standalone version. It's the RAF Mountain Rescue Series 3, and it always did look smart in its matte black livery with yellow high-vis markings. This one's also a carryover from the 1/72 scale, and the livery hasn't changed much between the two. It also sports the GPX version of the registration number. As I said previously with the Railtrack one, not many have this registration. It's interesting that in the bigger scale they don't swap registration numbers like they used to on the 1/72, or not that I've seen. I don't know, sometimes the way things have worked out with these models, you know, you'd think, yeah, I can see why that's happened, but sometimes you just, why didn't they stick with one? Why did they change them? because I don't think they would have had such an eye for the collector, you know, deliberately doing it to create variations to stimulate sales. Who knows? It's quite possible. Right, pardon for the kids are playing out in the sunshine next door, so apologies for that. This would have benefited. This is another one that would have benefited possibly from a trailer. I don't know if the prototype had one, but could have had a nice little trailer, probably done up in the same livery, would have looked quite good. And as we see coming round, this one has the interior mirror. So I've not seen any other versions of this. I've tried. This one is probably harder to get your hands on than the rail track. Don't crop up very often. So possibly there was only one run of them, and once they were out there, that was it. It probably didn't stay in the catalogue very long. Who knows? It's one of the better looking machines. I'm surprised they didn't make more of this, but there's always a chance they made loads and they're in collections. People don't want to part with them, but who knows? It'd be nice if Oxford re-released this one. Please, not without the painted rear window, but I have a sneaking suspicion if they did re-release it, that's what we would get. It's a nice looking vehicle. Mountain Rescue, they tend to be voluntary organisations, although this one's the RAF. RAF teams, a lot of them are private individual, well, the charities, and rely on donations to keep going. Nothing changed at all on this one. So still got the option for the tow bar at the rear, which they missed a play opportunity with that, I'm sure. But adding a trailer to some of these could have been could have put them in the longer boxes, charge more for them, and away you go. But never mind. Right, so let's get them back together and we'll see what we're going to do next. So, two very nice looking models. As I unpack these, I can see why they changed from the 4 mirror versions, because these mirrors, the plastic of as they're getting older, I think the property's changing, and they're taking on some strange angles. Bit reluctant to try and straighten them up because they're probably getting quite brittle by now. So just be aware of that when you if you try to straighten one. Possibly warming it up a bit might work. If you just carefully warmed it with something and then tried to put it back into its original position. Never seem to have any problems with the tyres. They always, no matter how old they get, they don't sort of discolour and they don't appear to become brittle. So that's good news on that front. Right, it's probably a slightly shorter video, this one. It's gone quiet outside. Kiddies are probably gone off for ice creams, etc. It's Armed Forces Day today here in Scarborough, and they're hosting the national event for the whole country. So we've got a shed load of air displays coming this afternoon, so I took the opportunity to come up and just shoot these videos while I can hear myself think, and I'm going to go outside and watch the red arrows and a few others. So hope you enjoy your weekend. We'll see you again next week. So until then, happy collecting and stay safe. There we are, confused you, changed it around.